Automated data entry is another part that's really easy to start using AI. I think a lot of misconceptions about this is the AI will read your solution and all of a sudden it magically puts in all these data points to your system and you don't need to go check it. You don't need to do anything, and they kind of just check that off the list. How many times in your accounting department you need to pay your invoices and you're waiting on the procurement side to, hey, did we actually receive this? Did we receive the right quantity? Have you updated it to make sure that the purchase order is closed out? What are ways that we can really look at those processes and streamline those and make them more automated or even less steps? So I think there's still a really big misconception out there about AI, especially in the SMB world, and thinking that this software can do everything. It's going to read my mind and it's going to give me the exact result that I'm looking for. But still, it is just a tool that you are feeding data into. You're feeding in your knowledge as well as saying, hey, you may be taking these data points I put in here and analyzing it and giving a certain result. But I know based off experience that this might not be totally accurate and I need to make a few changes to it so that it is accurate. And as with everything, there's a lot of machine learning so that it can do predictive analysis, all of that stuff along the road. But being able to really have a good understanding of it and not just saying, hey, this is going to do everything I need it to do. And that is always a big red flag with the vendors that tell you that. And you need to make sure that you understand what their software can do by giving them requirements of saying, I need it to calculate X. I need these actual results. And then being able to take all of that and know for sure what data is being pushed out. So now that we have a good understanding of what AI is, now let's look at what can it actually do within the department so that we get a good understanding how those data points are used and what it's going to produce for you and your team. So let's look at cost savings and spend analysis. AI can help SMBs find where they might be having excess costs. That might be in your operations. It could be where you're spending. It can even identify as a certain supplier costing you more money than it should. So all of the data in the system, it can look at that and find and analyze where those cost savings are. We found that up to 40% can be found through AI procurement solutions. So this statistic is just industry averages of looking at across all of the different industries out there. So I'll cite my sources below and you can dig in a little bit deeper on those industry averages and see how they relate to your business. So market intelligence gathering for small and medium-sized businesses is a really easy low-hanging fruit to be able to get these extra analytics and data points that are specific to your industry. 77% of the small and medium-sized businesses are using this market 77% of the SMBs are using market intelligence to be able to gather all of these analytics to help them make easy and better decisions for their industry. Automated data entry is another part that's really easy to start using AI. I think a lot of misconceptions about this is the AI will read your solution and all of a sudden it magically puts in all these data points to your system and you don't need to go check it. You don't need to do anything, and they kind of just check that off the list. But really, there are tools out there that are helping you do this, yes, but there still needs to be oversight from you. It's helping you easily organize your data, but that doesn't mean that it goes in the right place. I think a really great example of this is bank feeds, specifically with QuickBooks. And QuickBooks will have a bank feed come in and it will have, hey, it's for this. And then QuickBooks is saying it's for a totally different category. And if you haven't set up a rule for it to know that, then yes, that makes sense. But the other times I'm like, where did you come up with this idea, QuickBooks? And I think that's a lot of ways of just showing you that it's using this automated data entry within their feed system. And you'll see this with other softwares as well. And you just have to double check, is this correct? Because you don't want to have to go through later on and you're auditing your systems and you find out that a whole bunch of things were going to the wrong general ledger account inside your finances. A big and easy trend going out right now with how to really utilize AI is when it comes down to process automation, especially in the SMBs. A lot of times you have manual tasks, you have tasks that have maybe way too many steps because you had adopted a process that you did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and it just became easy to keep the process instead of moving towards more, which I hate the word best practices, but kind of the best practice of how a department should run. And so when we're looking at procurement, AI can be used to look at some of these manual tasks and evaluating ways of how these tasks can be changed. So, good example I always bring up is purchase order automation. How can we take how we normally process our purchase orders and be able to automate that? Today, you may say, hey, I look at a paper that somebody in production told me I'm running low on inventory. I need to order some. I hand key it in, I send it out. I wait for, confirmation from the vendor to come back. Maybe there's some automation that can be used in there, not necessarily always AI, but just some automation with EDI. If you guys are familiar with that in the SMB world, I think it's becoming more of a trend on the smaller side because it saves so much time, especially on procurement side of things where, hey, if I'm working with big enough vendors and they use EDI, then I can send EDI through my solution. It goes over there. I get a confirmation back from them almost immediately to say, yes, we've received your purchase order. We're going to start processing it. I also might receive from them a confirmation to say, hey, it's been shipped today. And then also a confirmation of, hey, you should have received it. And when I do, then I'm able to easily, when that's received into the warehouse, be able to mark it against my purchase order and do a three-way match. Also, another way to look at it is with invoice processes. How many times in your accounting department you need to pay your invoices and you're waiting on the procurement side to, hey, did we actually receive this? Did we receive the right quantity? Have you updated it to make sure that the purchase order is closed out? What are ways that we can really look at those processes and streamline those and make them more automated or even less steps? And I think that is a really big one that comes into play of just how product is received into the door to when it gets to accounting to say, yes, it's okay to pay, and being able to really get that going. So AI is really two different things. It is data as processes, and we kind of like to use a term called process intelligence, where AI can't be as effective as you need it to be, or even as efficient if you don't have these clear processes in place, because there's going to be a bottleneck along the way, or there's going to be a process that maybe has a break in it or too many steps where then the AI can't come in and do the work that it needs to do. And so really optimizing those processes is a quick way to get some of those wins within your business and be able to pave the way to utilize AI more. And it's something that I really enjoy talking to people about. I'll have a link below if you'd like to schedule some time on my calendar and we can discuss what your current processes look like and how we may need to work through something to get them operating a little bit better so then you can start utilizing AI more in your business. So AI in procurement is a great opportunity for SMBs to start using when it's done right. And there's going to be limitless opportunities for it. I know I had a conversation with a guy the other day, and we were talking about that of just how many times tools are made for one function, and then you learn they can do so many other things that you never thought possible. And I think AI is going to be that way for the SMB world. Is it's going to open up so many great opportunities and things unknown that are really going to come into play and help make your business a lot stronger. I think it's important to talk to people, whether it's me, it's somebody on your team or in your networking circle that understands how AI works in the small business world, because otherwise you are just investing into something and kind of throwing money away if you don't know how it can really function within your organization. So I encourage you to take some time to get this conversation started. Please reach out below if you would like to start that conversation and just see how AI can really become the new standard for the SMB world.